at our super secret underground forest bunker, because that is the only place where pigeons cannot be seen. Hatched by a 20-year-old college student, Peter Macondos, the birds aren't real movement has drawn intrigue and scorn on Instagram, Reddit, and Twitter. The irony and uncertainty of whether it is a joke or a real thing that people believe in encourage us to take this topic. Mr. Macondo hopes in the upcoming year to collaborate with major content creators and independent media like Channel 5 News. In January 2017, Mr. Macondo traveled to Memphis to visit friends. Donald Trump had just been sworn in as president, and there was a women's march downtown. Pro-Trump counter-protesters were also there. When Mr. Macondo saw them, he ripped a poster off a wall, flipped it over, and wrote three random words. Birds aren't real. And this is where it all starts. In 1959, Operation Water the Country was born. This was to be the secret code name given to the program. Later, it was renamed Operation Very Large Bird. The water tanks in the bombers were filled with a specially formulated bird's poison that, once consumed, would give the bird a virus that could be passed on to other birds. While thousands of birds died, the CIA released early robot birds prototypes into the environment. President John Kennedy had no idea that this was taking place. The CIA did not intend for anyone but selected departments to find out what was going on. Even the pilots of the bombers were unaware of what they were doing. The chief commanding officer of Water the Country told them that they were watering the grass of the entire country. A few years later, Kennedy was shown a prototype of a robot that specialized in killing larger birds like eagles and falcons. Kennedy was impressed with what he was shown, but continued to demand the immediate shutdown of the operation, and less than a month later, he was dead. He was to be the first and only president to stand out against this murder of the birds. From Lyndon Johnson to Donald Trump, every president turned a blind eye to the atrocities. So, this international, intentional conspiracy submits the act of mass murder.
Mysterious data time. In order to analyze the suspicious mystery of a conspiracy theory or maybe reality, you don't know that, we had to collect some data. And we started first by typing in mysterious words from a deep search engine called Google. Words such as pigeon spies, pigeon drones, bird drones, birds controlled by government, and we found a movement called Birds Aren't Real. And we use sources such as social media, YouTube, and news articles. And of course, you need evidence for this. Well, we came prepared. First, we found a news article about the fact that the CIA unveils Cold War spy pigeon missions, and that may lead to suspicion that birds in fact today are controlled by the government. The second news article that we found was introducing the topic of the Birds Aren't Real movement to us, and it helped us basically find out more about this conspiracy theory or reality. Then we found another news article where we also took a look at the comments section, what the people thought because it is very important to hear the voices of our people, of our society. Then we move on to social media. We found the Instagram account of this famous movement, Birds Aren't Real. And we also took a look at the Instagram comments of people who actually believe in this movement. We also mentioned YouTube videos. Take a look at this. Now then, we have provided you with our data, and my job here is done. The coding procedure. We spent long hours spying ourselves on the Birds Aren't Real movement believers and skeptics. We found a bunch of comments that we divided in 4 semantic categories. The damage to every person is done by spreading negativeness. And to illustrate, we gather comments which contains words that in fact create negative emotions. And that's the first category. Words such as offensive, the scariest, truly disturbing, and absolute travesty create negative emotions. And then let me ask you, what can be worse than distrust? Sayings such as sounds like sabotage, it would be wise to keep all speculations. Truth truly seems to not exist anymore. You should start asking some questions. You will never see a pigeon in a forest. When was the last time you saw a dead bird or like a bird ran over? Create distrust towards people. In addition, we all have our personal values that should be respected. And when person's space is disturbed, we shall to feel fears. For example, no wonder my kid wants to watch us in the bedroom. They won't silence us. To listen into our every conversation. This beautiful city will not be destroyed. The Birds Aren't Real movement will become common knowledge. Our grandchildren will learn about us in school. Now it's time to stand up. And what about the external enemy? Undoubtedly, we've got some findings to show you here. The government killed off all birds and replaced them with surveillance drones. The FBI is behind this, as well as CIA. All in all, we must say that the most prevalent category was external enemy. And in addition to that, we shall share a story with you. In 1953, Allen Dulles was declared director of the CIA. His mission to eradicate all living birds. He sent bombers, along with sending 21 Boeing engineers. They began work on this plan. And they replaced the bomb base with gallon water tanks to kill all those birds. The operation went covertly until October 1st, 1963. That is when a massive amount of birds were killed. And that's a shocking fact, isn't it?
talking about the social or political factors which can be inferred from our coding procedure, we think that because of this theory, people lost trust not only in the government, but also, I mean, the government, the main enemy, but also in the society and in other people as well, because this theory does the same as all conspiracy theories. All conspiracy theories basically just creates a gap in society, and because of that, certain groups of people, such as government or the people who do not support the conspiracy theory, are in danger. They are endangered, and because of this conspiracy theory, this conspiracy theory just creates aggression, and which causes the protests and riots to happen. And also, because some people just believe in this stuff and shit, they're also developing distrust, which affects their mental state, and some people can also develop anxiety and other mental disorders, and it is just traumatizing just to think that the USA government would have killed these little guys. Talking about the spread itself, in fact, what concerns the movement being spread accidentally or on the purpose, this conspiracy theory is still definitely being spread intentionally by Peter McKindle, the 23-year-old creator of the viral birds aren't real motion movement, and some people seem to think that this is a joke, but a lot of people still tend to believe that birds are not really real. Now, excuse me.
So now let's move on to reflection, shall we?
Yes. So the first question, was the disinformation discourse methodology difficult to learn and apply to your chosen topic?
Yes?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was indeed.
Yes.
All right. So actually answering this question, we all agree that it was difficult because we found less comments on social media's posts than we actually found some journalistic articles that talk about this birds aren't real movement in general. So it was really hard to get some words or some examples for each of categories, semantic categories. But we tried our best, and we think that comments that we shared with you, it was quite interesting, and you got the main idea.
Yeah, I think everything went very well, actually.
Yes, the next question, did the project improve your understanding of how language is used in this information discourse?
Yes.
Actually, yes.
I would have to agree with it.
Well, language is a flexible and dynamic tool, and as any other tool, it can be a very dangerous weapon. And, well,
yes, and also in addition to that, words that spread negative emotions and that have a huge impact of how we feel, it's pretty dangerous. And those people who believe in conspiracy theories and try to get others to believe in those theories use use some personal values and put them under the threat. And it's frustrating because some people don't have enough power in themselves to, not to believe, because their personal values are under the threat, and also negative emotions that the conspiracy theory creates with the language they use. It's it's really sad, and we also felt some kind of negative emotions.
True. Let's move on to our third and final question.
Okay, so reflecting on our project, what was our biggest discoveries here?
The biggest discovery I would have to say is that the fact that there are people that actually believe that birds aren't real, even though this conspiracy theory, I don't know, it started maybe as a joke, maybe it was like a satire kind of thing. It still affected a lot of people, and it just causes so much distrust and all of these feelings. And as we have discovered, basically the language that we use in this disinformation basically example, it affects how people feel as a society, and it causes it basically divides the society is what we discovered, I think.
Well, my biggest discovery was that this story is actually not real. Because I actually believed in this stuff. But I'm just joking, but my biggest discovery was that the conspiracy theories can be analyzed like that. Just like grabbing the words that are used in the conspiracies and like making a graph, a table, and just putting the words there and sorting them by different categories.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, we discovered the real stories, how that explains the massive bird deaths in the last century, and it was quite shocking because we understand that maybe these facts, we cannot rely on these facts for 100%, but some people as like who work for CIA or FBI, they shared these stories on YouTube, on some interviews, and it was really interesting to take a look, not about the conspiracy theory itself, but about the facts that birds were dying at some point in this life. And we actually, it was quite interesting, I guess.
Quite a journey.
Yeah, quite a journey to actually generate and gather those facts.
My biggest discovery is the creative minds of these three guys.
You
And
too!
also- yeah, and also the creator of that movement that birds aren't real.
Yes, I think that was really big step of him to talk about that and to make lots of people to believe in this.
So I guess that's it.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you!